Right, this is going to be an introduction to something we call order of operations. You guys have all seen order of operations before, and usually they give you this acronym called PEMDAS. And they told you that this PEMDAS stands for please excuse my dear Aunt Sally or Aunt Sally. Okay. And I'm here to give you a little bit of warning. They had you memorize this acronym, which is not necessarily a bad thing. But what happens here is you start having trouble with order of operations because embedded in this wonderful idea of PEMDAS are lies. All right, and I'm going to talk to you a little bit about those lies. Now, if I ask you what P stands for, most of you are going to say P stands for parentheses. And I'm going to tell you that's only marginally correct. Okay? Yes, P does stand for parentheses, which is one of our grouping symbols that we're going to be using, but it also stands for brackets. These little squiggly lines we call braces, absolute value, a thing called square root, and, believe it or not, the idea of a division bar. So they tell you parentheses, but in all honesty, this encases 6 different things. And of these 6 different things, we have 1 or 2 of them are operations. So they're operation grouping symbols where we have to do something first before we can move on. Yeah. All right, so then we have E. And E stands for exponents. We're totally, 100%, we are okay with that. Okay? And then we have the M. And everybody seems to think, well, this means I have to have multiplication next. Again, we have a bit of a lie. And this is a problem. Because multiplication is not always the next step in here. All right? And what we want to think about this instead of thinking as M is for multiplication, we want to go ahead and put our multiplication and division together. Okay? So my dear is actually a group of things that we need to consider. So we have multiplication, or division in order from left to right. So whichever operation we come through first, we must go ahead and do that operation. So multiplication is not always first. The same thing also applies when we talk about addition and subtraction, which is our Aunt Sally part. So our addition and subtraction also goes in order from left to right. Okay? So addition doesn't always come first. Sometimes it might be subtraction. All right. And I'm only going to do a few examples of these. This is something we're going to do for a couple days. So let's go ahead and look at some examples. Okay, so example 1, I have 7 plus 3 times 4. Okay, now order of operations says, do I have any parentheses or grouping symbols of any kind? In this case, I do not. Do I have any exponents? No exponents. I can move on. Do I have any multiplication or division? Remember, we're considering them one group. I do have multiplication right here, so that'll be the first thing I do. So I have 7 plus, and 3 times 4 is 12. Okay. There's no other multiplication or division, so I'm done with that. Now I need to look at addition and subtraction. Right? And here I just have simple addition. So I have 7 plus 12 is 19, and I'm done. Right. Example 2. This is a good example of order of operations with multiplication and division. So first of all, do I have any parentheses? Nope, I'm done with that. Do I have any exponents? Nope, done with that. Now I need to look at multiplication or division in order from left to right. Okay? Now your eye is going to want to go to the multiplication. It just happens. You've got to fight that urge here because honestly, the first thing from left to right, we have division. And so we need to go ahead and do this division piece first. Okay? So we have 40 divided by 8, which is 5, and that 5 is going to be multiplied by 2. Now all we have left now is the multiplication, so 5 times 2 is 10, and we are done. So you got to be really careful. Your eye really wants to go straight to that multiplication, but that's not the case with order of operations. Okay. Example 3, I'm going to go back through, and you always go all the way through your order of operations. So do I have parentheses here? No. Do I have an exponent? Absolutely, I have an exponent right here. So I have my 3 plus 7 minus, and my 2 squared is 4. That's 2 times 2. Okay, do I have any multiplication or division? No, no multiplication or division. So now I do addition and subtraction from left to right. So I have 3 plus 7, and it's going to give me 10 minus 4. And then 10 minus 4 is going to give me 6. All right. So it's just a point of always constantly going through order of operations. Example 4 is an example involving the division bar. Because remember I said that all the way back here that the division bar is part of the parentheses part of this idea. Okay, and what the division bar allows us to do, it allows me to go ahead and work this order of operations out separately from this order of operations and then put them together to do the division. So first I'm going to look at the 3 squared times 2, okay? And I go through my order of operations. Do I have any parentheses? No. Do I have exponents? Yes, I do. I have a squared term, okay? So 3 squared is 9, and that 9 gets multiplied by 2, and 9 times 2 is 18, and I don't have any addition or subtraction. So that is my numerator of my fraction. All right. Now I go ahead and look at the denominator, and I have 6 minus 3. 6 minus 3 is equal to 3, and 3 becomes my denominator. Once I get the problem to this point, I perform the division. Now in order of operations problems, they always divide it evenly. So 18 divided by 3 is going to give me 6, and 6 would be my final answer here. Right? Gonna look at one more here at example 5. Now this is one where if I go ahead and say, oh, do I have parentheses? Absolutely. Now if you have a set of parentheses, you go ahead and look, is there something inside those parentheses that I can go ahead and perform? Here I have addition, so 2 plus 5 is 7. And I always keep whatever's in parentheses, and I don't drop the parentheses till I'm sure I don't need it, because this parenthesis right here is borderlining with this 3. Now if there is no sign between a parenthesis and a number, that means multiplication. So I have to multiply. So I'm going to stick my 3 out front, and then I had divided by 3. Now order of operations says I got to do multiplication or division from order from left to right. So I need to go look left to right. And I have 3 times 7 first, which is 21. And that's going to be divided by 3. And 21 divided by 3 is 7. So this was a quick overview of very simple order of operation problems. I will do more complicated examples in further videos. For now, right now, go ahead and work on your problems, and I'll see you in the next video.